For this project, you're going to need to hand select 16 2x4s and 10 1x4s. You want to try and find boards with the least amount of defects. You're looking for straight boards that are not cupped, twisted, or have too many knots. Ideally, for any outside project, cedar is the wood of choice, but with lumber prices on the side of stupid, I opted to go with Douglas fir. Fir 2x4s in my area are half the price of spruce and honestly a lot straighter with far less imperfections. So definitely worth shopping around for the best quality and price point. Simple tools you're going to need for this project are a skill saw, a hand saw, a cordless drill, a speed square, and if you have access to a table saw, all the better, but not a necessity. Okay guys, here we go. This project is made up of 3 sections: the leg supports, the bench seating, and the back support. Step 1 is going to be the side leg supports. I'll need 4 legs, 2 for the couch and 2 for the love seat. Legs are going to be 24 by 24 inches built as a box frame. Using my DeWalt skill saw and a speed square as a guide, I'm cutting 8 pieces at 24 inches long, and for the top and bottoms of the frames, these will get cut at 21 inches with a total of 12 of these pieces. Straight away to the assembly of the leg supports, first pre-drilling 2 holes 3/4 of an inch up from the edge of all 8 of the 24-inch long pieces. This should prevent the wood from cracking when I drive in the screws. For each leg support, all you want to do is take 2 of the 24-inch pieces along with 2 of the 21-inch pieces, simply creating a 24 by 24-inch box. Using an exterior wood glue, I can now drive home the 2 3-inch screws into each of the pre-drilled holes. Flip it over, secure the other side, and simply repeat the process until you have all 4 legs complete. Now you should have 4 pieces left at 21 inches. These will be used for supporting the bench. Now I'm measuring up from the bottom of the 24 by 24 box frames and placing a mark at 12 inches. This will be the starting height of the bench seating. Now what you want to do is add in 1 21-inch cross member into each box frame, securing it again with 3-inch screws. Okay, on to the crisscross members of the leg frames. We opted to go with the traditional farmhouse look. However, you could simplify it and save yourself a ton of time by just adding 1 more 21-inch cross member, which would maybe give you more of a modern look, I guess. Now to find the angles, all I did was set one of the box frames on top of a 2x4 on edge and marked it out. The angles are a bit crazy, but not impossible to cut. I found it way easier, way faster, just to make a simple plywood jig out of some pieces I had laying around, and this should help keep all the angles the same. Cutting along with assembly of all the cross members took roughly 3 hours. Totally worth the time in my opinion, but just know that's what you're up against. Step 1, the leg supports. Step 2, the benches. These are super simple. Again, we want to make a box frame, 1 for the couch and 1 for the love seat. You can totally customize the size at this point based off your own patio space. I'm making ours at 60 inches for the couch, 40 inches for the love seat. We'll also be making our own cushions to save on some costs, but if you're looking to buy pre-made cushions, the size of those cushions will determine the size of your benches. Once you got all 4 pieces cut to complete each bench, you can assemble it the same way as we did the leg frames, using glue and 3-inch screws. The bench frame is basically the same as a mattress box frame. We'll be adding 1x4s as support for the cushions. I'm going to take an extra step here and add a lap joint to allow the 1x4s to sit flush with the top of the 2x4 framing. And this is where a table saw comes in handy. This step is totally not necessary, so if you don't have access to a table saw, don't even worry about it. Now to join the leg assembly together with the bench frame. I'll just lay one of the leg frames down and stand the bench frame on top of it, securing it with 3 3-inch screws, making sure it's level with the cross member I installed earlier. Then I'll repeat it for the other side. Now to add some strength to the overall seating. You can go about this a couple different ways. First, you could add 6-inch leg screws to this location on all 4 corners of each bench, or you could drill a larger hole into the leg assembly and add a 4-inch screw like I'm doing here. Either or is fine. The bottom line is you don't want to end up on your butt.
Everything is as good as new.
So this is definitely a step you don't want to overlook. Now that the bench and leg frames are together, I'll just cut and add all the 1x4s, spacing them out equally. It's also important to pre-drill all your 1x4s before screwing them onto the 2x4 framing. On to step 3, the back support. You'll need 3 2x4s cut in equal lengths to the total length of your bench, including the leg supports. 2 will be for the back support and 1 for the bottom of the bench to keep it square. I chose to use a half lap joint for these pieces, again an optional step. However, if you do choose to go this route, the easiest way with a skill saw is to simply use a straight edge. I'm using a square, but even a piece of scrap wood will work. Mark the width of the 2x4 across all 3 boards, then measure the distance from the blade to the edge of the saw and add that to the first line you made. Next, you want to set the depth of your blade to half of what the 2x4 is, which should be 3/4 of an inch. Clamp your straight edge to the line and then slowly take off roughly 1/4 inch strips until you're at the end of the boards. You can then just break off the pieces and use a chisel to clean up the area. Once you've got all your back supports cut, just flip the bench over and add one of the 2x4s at the very bottom, one at the very top, and then evenly space out the third one between the top of the bench and the top of the seating. It's a good idea to glue these back support pieces and then screw them together using 2-inch screws. The benches are really starting to come together now, but before calling it complete, I want to add a couple of finishing touches to them. First being some feet, to give it a little bit more height and also to keep it off the ground in case any moisture does get around them and the wood doesn't end up rotting. I went ahead and cut 8 2x4 feet and added a 45-degree bevel on one end, and finally I'm just using the leftover 1x4s to cap off the armrests. We've decided to paint our benches white, so here I'm just filling the holes with wood filler, and once that's dry I'll give it a light sand using 150 grit sandpaper. Now I won't bore you with too much of the painting process because, well, let's face it, painting sucks. I was lucky enough to have my daughter wanting to do it, so that's a big plus. We first prime the wood with exterior bare wood primer, sanding between coats, and then 2 coats of exterior white pearl finish. For the cushions we chose to make our own using plywood, 3-inch camping foam, and some inexpensive curtains we found for $10 each. First I cut 2 pieces of plywood to fit the exact size of the bench plus a 1/2 inch overhang on the width so it would extend just past the edge of the bench. Then I cut the 3-inch foam to the same size as the plywood. Finally, using some spray adhesive, I coated the plywood and then the foam to join the two together. Next, using 1/4 inch staples, we just stapled the curtain material over the foam and onto the plywood. We had a lot of curtain material left over, so my wife just sewed together 2 long throw cushions, one for each couch. She incorporated the curtain rings into the design, which gave it a really cool look. She then added some color with more cushions and blankets to finish off this cool design. Hey guys, we are loving these outdoor couches. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button right over there. Put new videos out every week. Don't want you to miss a single one. Like, comment, and share this one with your friends. Oh, also check us out on social media. I'll put the links below. We'll see you all next week. Peace.